Thanks for joining me, Dominique Anderson, a Populist Community Strategy. And if we're not already following, or if you're new here, first of all, of course, I'm supposed to say subscribe, like this channel for YouTube, and definitely like the podcast if you're on our podcast. So, I was been thinking about my path and the work that I do, and my specialty is in knowing things and knowing people, right? And so my background is in CDFI. I work with a lot of CDFIs, community development finance institutions. I launched Nashville's first community land trust, CLT. But I also have a real passion for working with small scale and emerging developers, especially diverse small scale and emerging developers, to help them do the good work, if you will. So we find the good money. So we look at things like CDFIs and banks with their Community Reinvestment Act. So banks have a portion of funds that they have to use to do good things in communities, right? So how do we do community development and all of this good work without capital? And if you're a developer, especially small scale or emerging, how do you move from where you are to where you want to be? How do you build the affordable housing? How do you build the community centers or the parks or all the things that are going to make, or the schools, the things that make communities better, right? How do you make them thrive? And so that's my space. And really, from the person who never wanted to do anything with math, I say a lot of things like cap rates and conversions and profit margins and all of these things that are really kind of gross words that my friends who've known me since I was a Spanish teacher, because I was a Spanish teacher, or a publicist, because I did that for a very long time. I owned my own PR firm. And they say, why do you say these things? How do you know these words? And I go, I don't know. It just kind of happened to me. And so what I really am talking about today is, where's the money? How do you get this capital? So getting capital from a CDFI or from a bank or from a funder, right? Some of their funds out here, housing trust funds of pots of money, it is less about the numbers and more about the relationships. But please don't get it confused. It's absolutely about, are you good on paper? Is your project good on paper? So it's about the narrative, right? The social impact narrative, what you're building, how is it going to improve communities? Why should we give you money? Can you pay that money back? Do you have other people who believe in you to pay that money back? And so, at Populous, we've launched 5 different workshops or boot camps, different things that we're doing to really zero in. I want to help developers, especially small scale and emerging developers, diverse developers, particularly, get money, but all developers. But I just have a special place for people who look like me, maybe sound like me, and depending on how I sound in a day, whether it's in English or Spanish, right? And so, or women of color, especially, right? Thinking about, 1, where are these pots of money? And 2, how do you get to it? And 3, when you fill out these applications or you fill out these forms, are you putting your best foot forward? Are you telling the best story for the project? So this really isn't a long post. It's really just about sharing. I want to make sure that you know where the money is. And also on the other side, hey, CDFIs, you all, and banks with your CRAs, you have to get this capital off your books and out the door. So where are the people who are looking for it? Thank goodness we're at a time where we're finally owning up to the fact that people of color, people that are diverse, there's historically been a lack of access to capital, a lack of knowledge of how to be developers and how to do this work. So I think as we've gone really hard and fast about getting people to the knowledge, maybe we're a little bit slower with getting them to the money. And then now we're even slower maybe about the technical assistance. So there's been a real rush to stand up a lot of programs that focus on increasing diversity and development. What I see sometimes is that we're still missing kind of the B to the A. We have the developer programs, and that's awesome. And now we have more diverse developers. We may have more diverse developers that are still thinking, how do I get to this capital? And then when you say, okay, I don't necessarily want to do just, market rate or expensive luxury condos or large scale homes. I really have a passion to put back into the community. whether it's the community that you grew up in or community of people who look like you or have similar experiences from how you grew up, there has to be money that goes into that pot. So, at Populous and with me personally, because you'll most likely work with me in a couple different ringers that I'm bringing in who are smart bank people, money people, compliance people. Take a look at the things that we have at Populous. We've launched some really cool new projects and opportunities to see this come to fruition, to make sure that the small scale and emerging developer, the diverse developer, can realize capital that's just kind of sitting, waiting for you to show up and go get it. Right. So let's put that story together. Let's put that, that narrative for your project. Let's put the great marketing behind it. And then let's look at your package, right, as a borrower of money, because that's what you're also going to be. And how does that look? And that money that comes out the door for affordable housing is different than the money that may come out the door for a car, truck, a house, or even to build a market rate project, right? Because it's usually pretty cut and dry when you say, okay, I'm building this 50 unit a market rate project. All the prices are what they are, right? It's probably, a high end luxury or even a middle range luxury, that we're looking at people who make 120, 150% of the area median income. They do well, they're upper middle class. And now I don't even know if there is a middle class left, but we have individuals who are making this money and they're going to be able to afford this. They have credit that looks like this. They have all these things kind of in this row so they can go to this apartment. They have so many options. When you have individuals who aren't making that kind of money, who don't have so many options, they may have had some challenges, some things may have happened. So they need a different type of housing and a more affordable, attainable type of housing. Then there's some things that have to go into creating that, right? And so things like subsidies and the type of capital you get and when do you pay it back and who do you go get it from. So, those are the things that I really want to work with individuals, and we work with individuals and organizations at Populous. So we have some cool projects, some facilitated workshops that are coming up. We have the individual one-to-one. Get on my calendar. Let's build something together. It's very simple, right? You just go to the website, click in, sign up for something, and let's do the strategy. Let's build that together. That was it. It's very simple. I don't have a long pitch for you. I just really want to get this out the door and think through how do we make more affordable housing show up? How do we help CDFIs and banks and foundations who are sitting on money that they need good qualified candidates to come and get it? That's it. All right.